for being a part of our first day of the Nonprofit Leadership Summit. By the way, all of those technical issues were planned. It was our attempt to teach you all about resilience. So, and if you believe that, no. Thank you for soldiering on with us through it all. It did make sense that day one was about resilience and we had some technical issues, but we'll do better tomorrow. Hopefully you'll be a part of it. So enough about me vamping to keep the while everyone comes in. We'd love to hear from you in the breakout room, what you discussed, what you heard, what you reflected on as part of Dr. Everly's speech on community and individual resilience. So who was a moderator in whoever the moderators were, feel free to, unmute and tell us what everyone was talking about.
So Tom, I'll jump in. It's Jan Fisher. We had an amazing group and a great conversation that I think could have gone on even longer. And the whole subject of resilience and the meaning behind it, we felt was so important because it provides hope. It's positive, but not toxically positive, which we spoke about too. And so the whole notion of hope and having something to move forward to and understanding, resilience is an action word. It's something that we can do, that everyone can learn these skills. They can be taught and they can be gained. So it was a very hopeful message, especially as we reemerge from the pandemic. And the group also, thought about it's a way of lifting people up with a focus rather than tearing them down and being victorious. And, we also spoke about when you support somebody else, you're building your own resiliency. You are working together, but you're also building community resiliency. And then, just being reminded about the importance of self-care, the importance of touching base with each other, with community. And those of us who are supervisors and leaders and people with power, validating people and remembering that, especially through this pandemic, they had another life that was really difficult, and considering what else was on their plate besides the job that they were doing. So it was, and if anybody had anything to add, but it was a great group and great questions. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Jen. Jorandy?
Thank you. We also had a really great session. I'm just so inspired by these women, and also Tom saying, we're soldiering on. We are, because as community members who are working in nonprofits across the state and globally, we are resilience and justice warriors. And I think we're all recognizing that after such a tough year. But our group was, really talking about that some of our community members see challenges as an opportunity, and some are so mentally exhausted from their own life, whether that's financial or some things that they're going through in their home. And how do we support those community members where resilience is a struggle? And we also talked about how, when we're going back to our mission and our work in nonprofits, know that people saw leadership resilience and honored that work in each of our prospective nonprofits, whether you were a frontline staff member seeing leadership, effective leadership after a global pandemic, or even honoring your colleagues where you may not have seen a leader, but they became a leader, or maybe you were expecting it or not expecting it. And I just think that it's great for us also to go back to our teams and say, hey, good job. Yes, we pulled through. We're still here. We're still here a year later and attending these training sessions and honoring the fact that we made it through. We also talked about how there's strength in unity and strength in support. and that coming together to have that optimistic vision is so critical to our work. So this is no time to kind of go back into our own silos and like, oh, we made it through, I'm going to keep working in my own little bubble. We have to continue to build collaboratives and collective work so that we can keep helping our communities. And never forget, mission drives us. Mission is why we're here. It's why our communities are still, our colleagues and our teams are still working through this. So remember that the mission is most important, and it takes a special person to work in nonprofits. So go us.
I'll go next. We also had a great conversation. We really focused on individual leadership as well as community resiliency. And so this idea of how can individuals support resiliency and creating a culture when perhaps they may not have what they consider a resilient leader, but feeling like there's still a contribution or a difference they can make from kind of an individual perspective. This idea of resilient leaders building sustainability and thinking about the next generation of leaders really connected with our group as well, the importance of building trust, and then also just acknowledging that resiliency looks different in different communities depending on access to resources and opportunities.
Thank you, Jeanette. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll go. I think that a lot of the same themes came up in our group. One of the things that we all kind of talked about is how while the pandemic had so many negative effects on so many lives, there was a silver lining. And for us, one of the things that we talked about is how we were able to extend our reach to people, beyond our communities, but actually nationwide, and to people who really needed some of the supports that would not normally have access to supports. Going virtual for many of the programs that I know that the Alzheimer's Foundation, for example, provides. We had provided, you went from transitioning from in-person to actual virtual. So reaching thousands of lives for those who really needed support. And how I think that leadership really came together, within days to transition programming was really something that I think as a group, we all thought, somehow you didn't have a choice, to stay alive, you really didn't have a choice. And, you needed to be innovative and creative, and knowing that there are people who still needed your services. We talked about how leadership really came together, and how important and how critically important that really was. I think that resilience for each of us, as we looked at, this entire pandemic, is something that we realize really did take good communication, and really relying on ways in which to bring people together, so that people didn't feel isolated. Social isolation, is something that so many people experienced during this period of time. And so, communicating to each other was so important. And just finally, I think there was a shout out for Westchester, nonprofit Westchester, for all of what nonprofit Westchester has done for the community to keep everyone sort of informed on the educational programs, was something that were very beneficial to nonprofits.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Anyone else? Any other thoughts? Wow. Well, it was a lot to digest, but it was, I think, so important for all of us to hear, because in one way or another, we're all resilient, because we're all still standing. We're all still here. We've been through a lot, but we should all pat ourselves on the back for that, because the work that we do is so necessary and so needed right now. And the fact that we're still standing through it all, I hate using the word, but it's unprecedented. So congratulations to each and every one of you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being a part of the breakout sessions. Thank you for being here for day one of the summit. We'll hope you'll be a part tomorrow and all week long. Thank you to everyone who moderated the panels, the breakout sessions, and Jeanette for welcoming us. I appreciate that. And Jan for introducing Dr. Everly. We will see you all hopefully tomorrow and all week long. All right. Take care, everyone.
Tom, before you close out and before everybody leaves, I just want to let people know that Gerendi just put in the chat a link to Westchester Library System's resilience program, Breath, Body, Mind.
Yep.
It is available to everyone, and it's a really wonderful way to build your own personal resilience. It's also available to any nonprofit. We will come and we will train the trainer so that you can use it for your staff, and you can also use these tools with your clients. So it's a wonderful resource that your public library has for you. So, please take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
That link will take you right to the calendar, and just take one class for yourself. It's amazing. It's something everybody could do. And once you've got the skill, you can use it all the time.
Absolutely. Thanks, Pat. We appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. Take care. We will see you. We'll see you all week long. Bye-bye.